Hello, this is Larry King Live with your host Larry King. Thank you for joining us. Today we present the thrilling story of a legal battle that has the works, free speech, religion, education, you name it, and his headline story has it. This story began in 1989 at the Nathan Bishop School, a public middle school located in Providence, Rhode Island. Around graduation, the students are filled with excitement even while some controversy is brewing. The principal, Robert E. Lee, invited a rabbi to deliver the invocation and benediction for students at the graduation ceremony. Deborah Weisman and her family are Jewish, but they still disagreed with the decision to have the rabbi speak, so the Weismans filed a temporary restraining order against the rabbi so that he could not come and speak at the graduation. However, the motion for a restraining order was denied. The Weismans attended the ceremony anyways and watched their daughter Deborah graduate. They also heard the rabbi's invocation and benediction. Actually, I'll read the invocation and benediction for you. God of the free, hope of the brave, for the legacy of America where diversity is celebrated and the rights of minorities are protected, we thank you. May these young men and women grow up to enrich it. For the liberty of America, we thank you. May these new graduates grow up to guard it. For the political process of America in which all its citizens may participate, for its court system where all may seek justice, we thank you. May those we honor this morning always turn to it in trust. For the destiny of America, we thank you. May the graduates of Nathan Bishop Middle School so live that they might help to share it. May our aspirations for our country and for these young people, who are our hope for the future, be richly fulfilled. Amen. Benediction. O God, we are grateful to you for having endowed us with the capacity for learning which we have celebrated on this joyous commencement. Happy families give thanks for seeing their children achieve an important milestone. Send your blessings upon the teachers and administrators who helped prepare them. The graduates now need strength and guidance for the future. Help them to understand that we are not complete with academic knowledge alone. We must each strive to fulfill what you require of us all, to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly. We give thanks to you, Lord, for keeping us alive, sustaining us and allowing us to reach this special, happy occasion. Amen. The Weismans made the decision to file a lawsuit against the principal and the school district immediately after the ceremony. The Weismans went to battle and won their suit in front of the First Circuit Court of Appeals. The school principal and district appealed the decision to the Supreme Court. This Supreme Court case was accepted and actually became kind of a hot-button topic due to the various debates that it invoked. Is it okay to pray in public? Is it okay for school administrators to invite religious officials to speak at graduations? But most importantly, were Deborah Weisman's free speech rights violated? Such strong arguments had to be backed by reliable and strong attorneys. Charles J. Cooper represented the Weismans and General Starr represented Robert E. Lee and the school district. The main arguments were twofold. Cooper argued that there was no way to justify the actions of the administration. There was no way to justify the fact that a rabbi came and prayed at public school ceremony. He also argued that this was a way for Robert E. Lee and fellow administrators to advocate and encourage their own religion onto others. He said, "If we cannot fight for our rights of religion for our children, then we will face a mountain of trouble." On the other hand, General Starr argued, the ceremony was optional. Deborah Weisman did not have to go and could still have received her diploma. Or she could have gone but skipped out on the invocation and benediction. In addition, Deborah Weisman, if she chose to stay during the invocation and benediction, was under no pressure to participate in the prayer by the rabbi. After a series of lengthy debates and discussions, it was time to start to make a decision. The Supreme Court deliberated, and 7.5 months after the start of the trial they decided upon a verdict. With a 5-4 majority, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Weismans. Judges Kennedy, Blackmun, Stevens, O'Connor, and Souter ruled in favor of the Weismans, and Judges Scalia, Rehnquist, White, and Thomas ruled against the Weismans. In the words of Judge Kennedy, to say a teenage student has a real choice not to attend her high school graduation is formalistic in the extreme. True, Deborah could elect not to attend commencement without renouncing her diploma, but we shall not allow the case to turn on this point. Everyone knows that, in our society and in our culture, high school graduation is one of life's most significant occasions. A school rule which excuses attendance is beside the point. Attendance may not be required by official decree, yet it is apparent that a student is not free to absent herself from the graduation exercise in any real sense of the term, voluntary, for absence would require forfeiture of those intangible benefits which have motivated a student through youth and all her high school years. And in answering the argument that participation in the prayer was itself voluntary, Kennedy formulated what is now known as the coercion test. As we have observed before, there are heightened concerns with protecting freedom of conscience from subtle coercive pressure in the elementary and secondary public schools. Our decisions in Engel and Abington recognize, among other things, that prayer exercises in public schools carry a particular risk of indirect coercion. The concern may not be limited to the context of schools, but it is most pronounced there. What to most believers may seem nothing more than a reasonable request that the non-believer respect their religious practices, in a school context may appear to the non-believer or dissenter to be an attempt to employ the machinery of the state to enforce a religious orthodoxy. However, some of Judge Kennedy's counterparts disagreed with Kennedy's coercion test. Most notably, Judge Scalia. In holding that the Establishment Clause prohibits invocations and benedictions at public school graduation ceremonies, the court, with nary a mention that it is doing so, lays waste a tradition that is as old as public school graduation ceremonies themselves, and that is a component of an even more long-standing American tradition of non-sectarian prayer to God at public celebrations generally. As its instrument of destruction, the bulldozer of its social engineering, the court invents a boundless, and boundlessly manipulable, test of psychological coercion. Scalia also made the point that many presidents and founding fathers incorporated their faith and the faiths of others into their administrations, and this decision is insinuating that they were wrong in doing so. And now 18 years later, Lee versus Weisman is still relevant. It sets the bar for how far administrators can go when it comes to religious figures at public events, and it also provides a guideline for students' First Amendment rights. Well, there you have it. That's all for today. Tune in next week for our investigative report into how awesome Colorado teachers and principals are. Until next time, I'm Larry King, and this is Larry King Live.